Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Crimi-trent. Today we're going to do a watercolor tutorial on a bunny, spring bunny with some daisies. Here in this tutorial I'm using masking fluid for the daisies, but at the end, I didn't show it in the video, but disclaimer, I'm telling you now, I threw in some gouache. I just splattered it on the end and I like the effect. So you don't have to do that, and I don't show it in the tutorial, but if you want to add the splotches, go ahead, just splotch some white gouache at the end and you'll have this cute little effect of just wildflowers growing in the grass of the bunny. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. I'll try and get to them as soon as I can. I can't always get to them because I'm busy just like you are, but I will get to them if I can. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when my videos are up. Kind of these days are sporadic. I try and keep around 2 and 3. I might change the time actually going forward. I'm not sure yet, but right now I'm keeping around the same time. All right, so let's get started. All right, I'm going to go over my materials. I have my arches paper. My brushes, I have a Grumbacher 10, a Princeton Neptune 12, and a Princeton Velvet Touch Long Round number 8. I'm going to be using that PBO drawing gum, which is the masking fluid. I have my paints. I'll go over them as I use them. My water up here. You can't see it, but here's my water jars. I have a bunch of these. I usually do. I have like 2 minimum. And the reference, I found a cute little bunny on the web. I'll attach the link in the description box. You know, when you scroll down, you go on my page to see the video, you see show more, you hit that, boom, it comes down the description with the paints that I use, the paintbrushes, various tools, and other videos you can check out. I'm going to change this up a little bit though. See, I thought it was cute that they had little white daisies here. And I think I'm going to add some up in here. The grass. That's why I want to use the masking fluid. And I'm going to use a little crappy brush that I have. Just this thin old, I have a bunch of old brushes. Like I told you before, I painted a lot of gouache. And so these brushes have been destroyed by gouache. So I'm just going to paint in some quick little daisies just from my own head. No reference that I'm really looking at. Just going to throw those in. I thought it'd be kind of cute to do a little bunny for Easter time. And well, in the U.S., a lot of people celebrate Easter. Not everybody celebrates Easter. They have Passover and other holidays. But even if you don't even celebrate Easter, just some cute little bunnies. So I'm just going to put some of these little masking fluid in here. Just a few daisies, you know. Hey, if we don't like it, we can always just take it up, right? Paint over it. Just going to fix this. My brush is making them kind of pointy, and I don't want them pointy. I want a little more rounded. Just going to fill that in. All right, I'm going to let that dry. So we're going to let this dry. I've drawn in my bunny. I can kind of see it in here. I freehand drew this because I'm used to drawing animals. I changed the ears a bit. I didn't like in the photograph how the ear was behind this one like that. I kind of put it over here a little bit. I just, you know, my interpretation. And, you know, his head's a little different. The eyes kind of similar. It's just the typical eye, side eye. And you just draw that in. If you're not really good at drawing freehand, you know, trace the bunny if you have to. It's just good for tutorial of learning like how to paint the animal fur and the colors of the animal. You know, obviously you can't paint somebody's actual photograph. It's copyright infringement. It's not great if you're going to sell it. But if you're going to paint it for your house, it's no big deal. You can do that. All right, so I'm going to draw this and come back. Okay, so we're back. When you're painting the bunny colors, oops, excuse me. Okay, so we're back. When painting the bunny colors, you know, I'm going to keep them in the brown golden area. You don't have to keep it exactly like the picture. You can make it grayer, redder, you know, bunnies come in different colors, white, brown, and different tones. So I can see a lot of like blackish gray where you see the fur and the sun's hitting it, so it's lighter out here. But we're not going to worry about so much about the exact colors of this bunny. We're going to worry about just getting the feel of what he looks like, and it's a loose animal. So like I said, I've sketched this in. I'm just going to grab my Neptune number 12 brush, get some water on it. Now I've mixed up some paints here. This is a dark yellow with some burnt umber, a little medium red. Now I put it on my paper towel so I see it's the tone color that I like. Is it too golden, too red? I'm going to add a little more burnt umber, and I might add a little of this black just to get more gray brown. Still, if I look at it and say, do I like that color? It's okay, it's not the best. Maybe add a little rose, and that's a little redder. And then I'll go back in and add a little more of this black tone. And we're going to keep it fairly loose because I don't want this color to be so dark. So I'm just going to wash in some color. This is how you can do the bunny really easily. Just going to be washing in color. So I've got this color on my brush, and I just put in some more water, and I'm just going to wash in. See, I got some water. It's a lot of water on this brush. Just washing in this particular color tone. And under the cheek, I'm going to wash in. I'm going to add a little of that black. It's going to be gray, but that's okay. I'm going to work kind of fast here. So I put some more water. I'm just putting water on my brush and taking some off. I don't want it too soaking wet. So this is going to be wet on wet for sure in the beginning with this wash. And you can go right over those daisies because we put the masking fluid down, which is nice. So I'm just washing in. And see, that black gives it that gray tone that we're looking for. And some parts of this rabbit. And it's going to blend out like a spider vein blending. And you want to work, when you want to work loose like this, you want to work kind of fast. So I'm going to get this wet. See, I'm just washing in this color. It looks kind of like he has a black eye right now, but we're just going to keep moving around the loose black paint. Put a little blue in there. I'll just keep working, moving it around. I'm going to grab some of this paint that's a little darker. Put it under here. Now he does look like he's has like a black dust all over him, so I'm going to take some of that gray paint off. Just mopping it up. This big old brush is great for that. And go back in and add some of this nice lush brown color and some golden color up here. Get some more orange tones in here. I put in some medium red with some dark yellow, and it's like more orange tone. A little too much, but it will bleed. It will be fine. So I'm still working wet on wet here, as you can see. I'll get some darker tones going down in here. It looks a little too orangey for me right now. Yeah, maybe for you too. But that's okay. We're gonna keep putting more color on. And we're gonna add the fur towards the end. And I'm gonna get some color right up in here in his nose area. It's a little darker. It's still wet. You want to keep it wet. I'm going to add some more of this orange tone. I grab some of this dark yellow. It's a medium red. Kind of add a little black just to tone it down a bit. So we're looking a little too golden. Again, I'm going to go back in and add some of this burnt umber. My raw umber, and there's some, I have some burnt sienna, which is nice, and then I get that orangey dark brown. And I'm going to add a little black. So I'm trying to get a little darker down in here and up under here. And I'm going to add more black so it gets a deep dark brown. Just keep pushing it around. You can leave this yellow to, I can grab some of that dark yellow and put it out here, because you can remember the picture has that light, put a little pink, some rose. Multiple of colors. The key is just to have it, and add some of this black in here, the shadow. And now I'm going to go up to the ears. I'm going to go ahead and take my brush and just go fill in the line around the earlobe. I'm not going to fill in the center yet. Now I'm going to grab some more burnt umber and some black. It's going to get more creamier texture. Less water, more paint. And that's going to go right onto this. Because it's thicker, it won't bleed as much. It'll be a little darker. So we're getting there. We're just going to keep dabbing in some dark tones. And up in here. Now, the whole thing might seem a little too dark for you if you don't like it this way. You can just, like I said, mop it up. Some of the paint color. If you feel like, oh, I don't like it, it's too dark, it's not cute, just mop some of that color up, like I'm doing here. If you feel like it's just a little too much. I'd rather do that than the paper towel, just because it will have more of a texture like fur this way with the brush. So we're just taking some of that up. And then we're going to still go back in and add some shadow tones. Now here, because it's kind of wet still, oh, well, before that, we're going to go into the ear. I'm going to remove some of this paint color on my palette. I want to make this a peachy, I got some rose and some medium yellow, dark yellow, peachy tone for the inside of the ear. Pinkish, but not too pink. So you have got this like brownish pink. I'm going to dab it on our paper towel and we're going to flush it in the air. You want to keep the center of it lighter and have it darker towards the edge. It's just like a little peachy color. And you can add a little more rose if you want. I'd add it towards the edges. A little pinker. It's still too dark. Like I said, clean up your brush. Just go in and swipe some of that paint away. And you can add a little brown tones to the inside too. But that's the inside of the ear. And then we have to do the back ear. I got this brown here, and I'm going to actually use that pinkish rose color and put that in the back. And again, grab the darker brown, which is the burnt umber, mix it in a little black, and I dab it on my paper towel and I just hit the edge of that. If that's too dark, you can just go in and lighten it up. Swipe it away. But it's going to be darker because it's behind that ear. Okay, this is still wet. I'm going to grab my long 8 number 8 long round brush and grab some of this paint, the brown, the black, which is the burnt umber, the black. You can add a little red to it. It has a really nice point to it. So I'm just going to do some brush strokes that swoop outward for some fur. And you can do that all down here too. Now here it's still wet. It's just not going to do this fine lines. We're just doing little swoops for the fur. Tiny. You can see them up close. Really tiny. This one shows it because the sunlight's hitting it. It's more of a yellow, orangey. So I mixed some dark yellow. Got some rose in there. And some light yellow. And I'll just swoop those. Not too much paint on your brush. Get the fur. You don't have to make it that color. Like I said, you just go in and do the black, brown tones. Now I wouldn't do the whole bunny because you go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. In the States you know what that means, and if you're older in my generation you know what that means. You just want to do some basic fur lines, not too much, just to indicate the fur. It's still very damp, so it's not actually creating the... I'm putting in some darker tones again. In the cheek. And around by his mouth and whiskers. When it dries much lighter. So you can keep adding in some color. And I've taken away some color too. And then I'm going to add in up here. It's still fairly wet, so it's not cooperating like it should. So you can see it bleeding a little bit. So I'll just clean up my brush, which I've shown you 1,000 times, and just wipe away that paint. You can go back in when it's dry and fix that. And see, there's another technique. See how the color went on top of it and it's doing that hard edge? You don't want that because it looks kind of ugly. You're just going to blend that. That's why you have to work very fast when it's wet on wet. I'm going to go in and add little darker tones by his cheek. Right there. And on by the eyes. See, they dry as like a hard edge. So now that it's drying, you can go in and feather in some fur details. I'm doing where I put some paint down, or like a lot of paint, and I go in and make the feathers. Or even faster, you can have a fan brush like this. Grab some of that paint and you just go like this. Just push that around. Fan brushes are great. I mean, I use them for grass. Making some more color paint here. Definitely want to have a lot of paint. And you just take that fan brush and you're making the fur. This is an easier way to do it than if you don't have one. That's okay. You have to do the tip of your paintbrush. You just keep going like this and you'll get your fur. If you want some white highlights with the fur, I would use gouache if you have it. So you can go up here This is a great tool to have. You don't use it much, but you do in this instance. It's created a great texture of his fur. Now I'd go back into the ear. I'm going to dry this guy, come back to it, and do the ear and the eye, and we'll work on the grass around it. Okay, so I've dried him. I feel like he's a little too golden in his face. We're going to play around with just adding some little dashes of fur going around the eye. Don't want to make it too dark. Just want to blend it a little bit. And then for the ear, I've already drawn in some of it, but you get the creamy paint back and you go in and you do the details of the ear and the little fur that goes in there. And the ear behind you, make a little darker. Not too dark, I'm going to wipe some of that paint away. And then get the fur on the tip of the ears. And you want to take up some of that pink paint and do like a pink shadow in here. And on the edge in here. All right, so now we're going to work in the eye. Basically, you're going to use black paint for this. Just going to do the outside of the eye. A little close there. It's like a cat's eye. And then you want to go into the middle of it. So you do the eyeball like so. You want to keep that halo. So I'm going to grab some burnt umber because it's going to be like a brown. And you fill that in. Keep that halo. Now I clean up my brush and it's too white around the eye, so I'm just going to put a little bit of paint color here. Not too much. Fill that in. And you get your eyeball. And then we're going to do his nose. Again, I'm going to grab some of that black. I'm just get his nose, little mouth. And then we'll just swoop out some whiskers with your brush. It's a little too dark. Simple whiskers. I'm gonna do a little darker ones up here. You don't want it too goofy. All right, so we start to look cute now. Now we're gonna add in. We're gonna take off the. If you're not satisfied with the fur here, you can just, like I said, keep going in and adding in just some details here and there, not everywhere, to indicate fur. Doesn't have to be all the way around the whole entire rabbit. Just so that you know you have. Well, he feels like a fuzzy little bunny. This might take some time. All right, so we did that. All right, so now that I dried that, I'm gonna work on the grass. I'm gonna grab some medium green. I'm gonna mix it with some hooker's green. Get some of that burnt umber to make it a little darker. Going up my brush, I might grab some of that light yellow. You're gonna need a lot of paint, so keep adding some more paint. I'm just mixing. You can have the greens you have. You don't have to follow my green color tones. Just trying to mix this in. Get a lot of paint. Okay. I don't want it too bright, so I always mix in a brown or red. So there's the brown, red I mixed in. It neutralizes it. So now I'm just going to go over this. area, the grass. Just in the bottom down here. Throw in some darker tones. Not going to make it too crazy. And you can leave it like that texture, like a dry brush texture. And I can take my long round brush and go in and make some nice grass leaves. Just go like that. If it's thicker in the paint, it should go over this brown fairly well. Just pushing the paint up, like you're sitting in the grass. Getting a little darker. I might add some indigo, makes it really dark, and some burnt umber, and some more medium green. Get this really deep, dark, lush green color. Just keep going like that. And the bunny's in the grass. You can go in and add some yellow tones too to make it brighten back. And grab some of this yellow. Make it more like a light lime green. Mix that color up. Okay. Get some green in there, bright green. You just put actual yellow going outward and that will work just as well. All right, we're gonna let this dry and come back. Okay, that's dry. We're gonna use our rubber cement pickup. It's this really hard rubber square. Go take up that masking fluid and reveal the daisies in the grass. And if you don't even have masking fluid and you have white gouache, just use that. Works just as well. And we're just going to fill in the daisies. Grab some of that dark yellow. Oops. My colors have gotten muddled. So I'm just going to remove this green. Get some of my yellow in there. Has a little too much green to it, so I'm going to add some more of that dark yellow. There we go. For the center of the daisies. Just throw those in there. And then we'll add in some of the really pale blue shadows. You can use cerulean blue, whatever blue you have. Just water it down and just put a little on your brush, not too much. If it's too bright, you're going to add a little orange or black or whatever brown. And you're just going to go in and make those little shadows on the white part of the daisy. Just going to fill that in a little bit. And the daisy circle, just add a little of that medium red or an orange, just to give it some depth on the edge here. And that's pretty much it. And if you can add like a darker, deep, almost like a blackish green for the stems. Put some leaves. I just do these little blobby things. Make it look like leaves. And there you go. I just play around with this. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just having fun. And again, like the bunny, you know, it might be a little too brown. If you wanted to make it grayer. If you do white, I would do the masking fluid all around the edges of him and then paint all around that. I'm going to grab some of this yellow and mix that in, get some brightness down in here. Well, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's kind of a long tutorial, but I'm adding in some shadow here. It's tricky because that yellow is still wet. I just keep going in and adding that blue shadow around daisies. I have a daisy tutorial that shows you how to do that. Go check that out. So I hope you enjoyed this bunny tutorial today. I know I haven't done an animal in a while. I'm a little rusty myself. So I hope you enjoyed it. I know I'm doing a lot of flowers and other things lately. So thank you so much for coming to my channel and subscribing, for all your comments and feedback. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. I'll try and get to them. I hope you're having a safe and, you know, somewhat enjoyable time while you're at home. I know not everybody's at home, so all those people who have to work, take care of yourself and stay safe. And have a great day, everyone.